Lately, I've been trying to embrace the unknown. Not conceptually, not poetically, but deeply. For those that have been following me for a while know that I recently went on a trip to Asia. And truth be told, I'm still recovering from my time in Asia. You might have heard me, Asia broke me. And when people hear that, they really do think the trip has changed me. But Asia didn't necessarily break anything in me. It revealed what I had been too distracted, too accommodating, even too careful to see. That's the hard truth. Now I see. And that seeing has been a shock for me, for my system. Because when you finally see things clearly, you don't just feel relief. You feel consequence. You feel grief. You feel the ripple effect of the life that you've been participating in. And that's where this episode begins. With fire. Not the dramatic kind, the clarifying kind. In a world that teaches us to quiet ourselves, some of us learn to listen instead. We rise, not loudly, but deliberately. We rebel, not to destroy, but to become. This is not a space for performance. This is a space for truth. Welcome to Rise and Rebel Radio, where we rise with elegance and we rebel with purpose. I'm your host, Aya Hoja. After I saw what needed to be seen, the parts where I still abandon myself and the parts where I shrink myself, I took action. And what surprised me most wasn't the action. It's what followed afterwards. Because what I believed would feel like truth in my system, would feel like medicine and liberation, felt like backlash, like disorientation, like loss. And I found myself sitting with emotions that don't picture well, they don't photograph well. You know, that feeling of discomfort, the numbness inside. I genuinely understand why people turn to alcohol now, because feeling the discomfort sober is not easy. The quiet weight of reality. But I was okay, still okay. I sat with it all sober. I don't drink alcohol for that exact reason, because I rather feel my feelings sober. And as they say, feel it to heal it. So being grounded is very, very important to me, despite the chaos that is around me. And I am okay being the observer of my own life. I'm okay being the witness of choices that I had willingly participated in. The one sitting with the repercussions instead of trying to reframe them. Because this is part of life and this is part of that fire. Fire doesn't only warm you or inspire you, it actually even exposes you and it clears the way. It leaves you face to face with what is. One of the most confronting realizations of my becoming has been this. It takes courage to stay sober to reality. Not sober in the chemical sense, but sober in the existential crisis, existential one. Clear-eyed, not being distracted, not being distracted by all the stories that we see on social media. Because when you remove the numbing mechanisms, you start to see how unkind people can be, how avoidant, how performative, how committed we can become to the versions of ourselves that protect our image instead of our integrity. Most people don't actually want to meet themselves. They want to manage perception. They want to remain the hero in a story that never requires inner reckoning. And I understand that, I get it, because meeting your shadow is uncomfortable. It's actually very humbling and even destabilizing. But here's the truth that I keep coming back to. We were not given only light. We were given contrast. We were given instinct. We were given darkness and discernment. And we cannot honor our light if we refuse to acknowledge what lives beneath it. We cannot be authentic if we're constantly narrating ourselves into innocence. We cannot respect ourselves if we won't tell ourselves the truth. This is where my fire has changed. It's no longer emotional chaos. It's honesty. There is a kind of fire that doesn't yell. It clarifies. It asks better questions. It removes the appetite for pretending. I genuinely don't live from the question of what people think of me because I know who I am. And more importantly, I know the work I am willing to do with myself. I am devoted to meeting all versions of me. The composed parts, the generous parts, the loving parts, the jealous parts, the avoidant parts, the uncertain parts, the proud parts. Not to indulge them, but to be honest with them. Because honesty creates coherence. And coherence creates presence. And presence is what most people are responding to when they say someone feels powerful. It's not performance. It's not polish. It's internal alignment. We like to say people are good actors, but real acting isn't pretending. Real acting is willingness to pull truth from inside the body. How do I know, you may ask? I used to take acting classes, and I was an actor myself before the pandemic, in which we were trained over and over again to step into our authenticity and to meet all parts of ourselves. So I can tell you firsthand, I can tell you with confidence, most people aren't acting. They're pretending. And pretending has a scent. People feel it. They just often choose politeness over depth. They choose comfort over clarity. They choose avoidance over intimacy. And I get it. It'd be super awkward to tell a stranger you know that they're pretending, so you just smile and wave and walk away. Don't engage. I get it. So if you're listening to this and something feels tender, if parts of your life feel misaligned, if you sense that some of your relationships are built on avoidance rather than depth, I want to offer you something without accusation. Your fire is not asking you to burn your life down. It's asking you to tell yourself the truth about what you feel, about what you want, about what you've been participating in, about what you've been avoiding. I want everyone to know this. Conflict is not the enemy of connection. Dishonesty is. And if you're dishonest to yourself, then it must be that you're in conflict with yourself too, in which results in you making unhealthy choices. Depth cannot exist where everything must remain comfortable. Intimacy cannot grow where nothing is ever named. Your fire is not here to make you harsh. It's here to make you clear. You were not given fire to destroy yourself. You were given fire to see, to feel, to choose, to become sober to your own life and to your choices. You were given fire to honor both the beauty and the shadow without building an identity around either. Your fire is not a flaw. It is discernment. It is self-respect. It is devotion to your becoming. If something stirred while you were listening, let it. You don't need to rush to your becoming. Remember, rise when the world is quiet. Rebel when your soul is loud. This is Rise and Rebel Radio with Aya Hodra. Thank you so much for tuning in.